Welcome. We're back. New week in the market. Yeah, today's Monday. Very strange day. There's a ton to talk about. We're gonna cover everything. Hopefully you had a good day in the market. Just gonna start off with Bitcoin while people are rolling into the stream, just to cover it. Yeah, Bitcoin, we talked about it last night on stream. Showed you the descending broadening wedge that it broke out of. Carson, appreciate the subscription. Yeah, Bitcoin broke out of this descending broadening wedge, which you can now see, and it's just moving. You know, that next resistance is like $42,000. That's also the 200-day moving average. Used to be a low from over here and a high back from pretty much the beginning of the year. So we'll see if this can break 42K. I think it's in this area where for a while now you've just been in between 30K and 40K, and now you're back above 40K. So we'll see what happens with Bitcoin. I put out 3 different altcoin trades yesterday. If you're in the Discord, the link's in the description. If you're not, one of them was banned. This trade is up, actually went up a little bit more. I alerted this yesterday, it's up 9%. Tezos, I alerted yesterday, that's up 2 or 3%. Link, I also alerted yesterday, that is now up 10%. So yeah, crypto trades are doing very well. Hopefully they can continue to do so. But yeah, we can move on to the stock market. There's a lot to talk about with the overall stock market. Really just what happened was we had a interesting morning session where the Nasdaq was green, the S&P was red, and then the Russell I think went green to red if I'm not mistaken. And then within like the last 25 minutes of the day, we got a very big move on the S&P. I mean, it's not the craziest move ever, but considering that it was pretty much doing nothing for hours, you know, you took out all of last week's highs, closed at another all-time high, I believe for the 3rd day in a row. Yep, 3rd consecutive highest close ever on the S&P 500. This is really interesting. You know, on the S&P 500, I've been talking about this bearish divergence. It was looking pretty developed. And then what keeps on happening is we start losing that positive momentum, like when we have a red open or something on the S&P, but then we get those big closes, which we've gotten on the last 3 days, and it just stalls out the bearish divergence. So if you remember last night on stream, you know, I was talking about this doesn't really matter until it confirms. And basically, I believe the words I said last night on stream was, it's all good until it's not. I said something along those lines, and that's just still how I'm looking at the market. As long as the daily MACD on the S&P stays green, I'll continue to be bullish. We're closing at all-time highs every single day for the past 3 days. So again, like I talked about last night, you have potential bearish technicals, but you don't have confirmed bearish technicals. So right now, the trend is your friend. On the S&P, we've been pretty much going straight up ever since May 19th. And any close above 42.37, which used to be the all-time high in the beginning of May, is a good close in my opinion. So it's very strange. You know, we have this lingering potential bearish divergence, but it's not just confirming, and it can be argued that that hidden bullish divergence we talked about back in the middle of May is just continuing to play out, and you're continuing to see a continuation to the upside. I just said continue a lot, but whatever. That's really my thoughts on the S&P. You know, that's the level I'm watching, 42.37. Just want to close above that. Futures are green. S&P futures are up 0.14%. Nasdaq futures are up 0.19%. And for the newer people joining the stream, I'm just going to talk about the market for another probably 5-10 minutes, and after that I'm going to cover some stocks that I want to talk about, and then after I finish everything that I want to talk about, we'll do ticker requests probably in like half an hour, and I'll just look at charts for all of you. But don't drop tickers in the chat just yet. Make sure to hit that like button if you just joined the stream, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the stream. Thank you for all the support in the last week of streams. It's been amazing. And if you ever missed the stream, shout out to Medi and Medic Vibe as well, who will be doing timestamps. They're going to be pretty much writing down all the tickers that I go over on stream, which is so awesome. So shout out to them for sure. Let's move over to the Nasdaq. Now, before we even look at the Nasdaq, if we look at the QQQ, it actually closed at an all-time high today, which is great. And what happened not only on the Nasdaq but the S&P 500 as well is like you're pretty much invalidating / stalling out bearish technicals. On the S&P, you're stalling out the bearish divergence. It's not even, you can't really even talk about bearish divergence until it goes to red at this point because of the amount of fake outs we've had. So at this point, I don't even want to talk about it that much until we go to red. Even if we start dropping again, like who knows, you know. But if we look at the Nasdaq, another bearish potential pattern got invalidated today as well. which was a bearish bat on the 1 hour chart. It exceeded the 886. It also exceeded the 2618 from B to D. So it broke both of those potential PCZs, and we pretty much closed right under all-time highs on the NASDAQ. You know, I talked about a few nights ago that it kind of looked like an ascending triangle. Really, all that matters is this 14,200 level, I guess. 14.2 on the NASDAQ. Break above that, you know, it's another all-time high. And the QQQ already pretty much did that. So we saw a lot of big, you know, large cap tech names have nice days today. Apple had a great day, it was up 2.5%. Tesla was up over 1%. You know, really good day for a lot of those large cap tech names. I know a lot of people love trading. I'm in a couple of those names. I am in Tesla right now. I also, I don't know, maybe I'll talk about it later, but I also got some Coinbase. I don't know if I really want to talk about that for now. It really wasn't the highest, you know, most highest conviction trade ever. Really, I just got some Coinbase today because of this potential double bottom on the daily. It had a gap up, showed some strength. I don't know, I just kind of picked it up. We'll see how that works out. I'm not hell-bent on this being the best trade ever. But I am in a few of those names. A lot of those larger tech names look pretty good. And if the NASDAQ can just break to new all-time highs, you know, who knows where this can continue going. Now, if we take a look at the Russell, it's broken out of that symmetrical triangle. It's still fine, you know. I've been bullish on the Russell literally since right down here when I put out, not an alert, but actually I did alert call options to premium, but been super bullish on it since here. There was like a really good 1 hour setup. I don't know if I still have it charted. Yeah, I do. Like the falling wedge with the bullish cipher, it was amazing. Ever since then, the Russell has just been one of probably the best performing index, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the actual percentages, but it's done very, very well. Now moving on from that, and again, I'm just going to talk about the market for probably another 5 minutes because that does affect all these things. Where do I alert everything? In the Discord, the link's in the description, and also on Twitter at Champion Vibe. So take a look at the VIX. Here's the other concern. While we have that potential bearish divergence on the S&P, which is not confirmed, you also have potential triple classic bullish divergence on the VIX, the volatility index, and it's still holding that 16 level, which was pretty much the level where we gapped up from when the COVID crash started. We've been sitting at this level besides May, when we had that, you know, the beginning of May was pretty rough. Besides that, you know, we were at that 16 level, had a big move back up on the VIX. We came back down to this level. Basically, the last 2 times we were at this level on the VIX, the market's pulled back. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if it's going to happen again, but you also do have bullish divergence, which played out the last time when we had it over here, if you can see that bullish divergence. So I don't know. I'm just trying to show you all the variables. The way I'm looking at it is really anything is possible. You know, I'm not super bullish or bearish. We're at all-time highs. The VIX is at the same level it was before the COVID crash. We have a lot of speculation money in the market right now, which didn't go too well in the middle of February. A lot of those speculative stocks like SPACs and EVs and Wall Street bet stocks had a very rough March and April. So it feels like the end of January. That's what it kind of feels like, but I don't know if this is going to turn into a February or if we're just going to keep going. I have no way to know, so I'm fine with whatever happens. That's just how I'm looking at things. I'm taking it day by day. I mean, this week alone, I believe Powell is speaking this week on FOMC minutes, and obviously quadruple witching is this week, so a lot of derivatives expiring. Just so many different variables that can affect the markets. Even from a technical standpoint, I'm just going to let it do what it wants to. The US 10-year note as well, holding that 145 level, which used to be a support back in August of 2019, and potential classic bullish divergence. Like a lot of contradicting variables if you look at the major charts that dictate the markets or portray the markets. That might be a better word to use. And that's really it for the market analysis today. Now I want to talk about some stocks. We'll start off with Clover. After Clover, we'll talk about Wish. We'll talk about UWMC. We'll talk about AMC. All of those very popular names that have been putting in very nice moves and a lot of technical moves as well. If they weren't putting in technical moves, I probably wouldn't cover them. But a lot of them have been putting in technical moves. You know, I've loved Clover since $7 when I put out that buy alert or potential trade alert. I don't want to say just directly buy alert, but like, you know, I've been long on Clover since down here. I've been in and out playing, you know, trying to catch dips, selling the moves up in price. And Clover, it's, you know, we'll look at the chart. I mean, pretty much for 4 days now, we've not really had a true green day. We had 2 horrible red days, and then Friday and today were relatively flat. You know, I don't really know how to look at this candle pattern. I mean, it's kind of like two indecision candles in a row. If we move down to the 1 hour on Clover, however, you do have hidden bullish divergence developing. So that's an interesting variable to look at on Clover. There still is that gap fill to $12. I don't know how I feel about that, but really what I'm looking at on Clover is to see if this 1 hour hidden bullish divergence plays out, which probably it'll either play out if we have a good open tomorrow, and it'll probably be at least stalled out if we have a bad open tomorrow on Clover. That's really it. You know, it went from 7 to 28 back down to 14. I think it's around the golden retrace if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is pretty much right around that 618 level. We could see what will happen there. My lights just went out for like a split second. I don't even know if you saw it on the camera. It was like so quick. So hopefully that didn't cut out my Wi-Fi. I think I'm good. But yeah, that's Clover. Moving on, Wish. So many people talking about Wish. I do have a little bit of Wish. Nothing crazy. Honestly, I didn't even get it at the best price. I definitely could have gotten it at a better price. I was watching this coming into today regardless, just because it was talked about the whole entire weekend. And I saw it up like, I think I saw it up like 7% in the morning. And I was just debating it. And then it went up like another 2 or 3%, and then I got in. So I have a little bit of Wish. It's not the most technical trade. But if we go down to lower time frames, you can see we have that hidden bullish divergence on the 1 hour. Also, it's starting to curl up, kind of like a rounding bottom on Wish. And if we look left, you know, next, the major resistance here is 1180. Now, why did we top out around 1180 till we went up to 1192? That used to be your support on April 20th. It became resistance today. If it can clear that, that's when things can get crazy on Wish. If you can pretty much clear $12, let's go back out to the daily. You clear 12 bucks on this, and next resistance is like pretty much 1450-ish. You know, from these highs, and these highs, really $14 to $15 would be the next resistance if you can clear 12, right? Over here, you went straight up and then straight down. Same thing over here, straight up and then straight down. It's just that 12 level is that first, you know, point that you got to get above. It was even kind of like a 2-day resistance on candle bodies. So watching Wish as well. What else? UWMC on the 15-minute chart. Again, very low time frames. It can play out very, very quickly if it does. Pretty close to 3 rising values. I wish that this third value was a little bit higher. Like, I wish that it created, wrong button. I wish it created the third value like off of this, but it ended up pulling back. And it still is technically a higher low. All UWMC needs to do is get back above 1060, which was today's high, before breaching 990. It's pretty much in between those two numbers, so not the best reward to risk, but you do have a little bit of low time frame hidden bullish divergence. I don't know why I'm clicking all the wrong buttons. So I'm still in UWMC. UWMC was my best trade last week, made 450% with premium members overnight on options. It was one of my best trades in a while. I still have a much smaller amount than I did back then, but I still do have some. And yeah, I'm still watching it. I'm still confident as long as it's above 990. And if it doesn't, I'm completely fine managing my risk. That's not a big loss. It's, you know, that's literally a 20-cent move. So I just want this to close the 4-hour candles above 990 tomorrow. That's pretty much what I'm watching. Futures still are green. Bitcoin's retesting 40,000 right now. Let's move on to, let's talk about Tesla for a second, actually. Tesla is now for 3 days in a row closing above the 200-day moving average. It also had a bullish bat harmonic pattern, made a higher low double bottom. I also entered some Tesla today, so the 2 new positions I opened today, I actually closed a lot of positions today because of those potential bearish technicals on the overall market, as well as, you know, the Fed speaking, and then also quadruple witching, just some longer term trades I've been in. I did close out more than a few positions today. And I also re-entered, you know, I got into Coinbase and I got into Tesla. Coinbase, I already kind of talked about it, but just a potential double bottom on the daily. It's really not, it's not really a technical trade. There's not enough variables on this chart for it to be a swing trade technically. I just like the short-term price action. Also, Bitcoin's making a move. That Taproot stuff, the news came out. What else with Bitcoin? There was something else. We'll see what happens with that. And then Tesla, I also opened up a position today. It was up 1%. As long as this can continue closing above the 200-day moving average, I'm keeping an eye on Tesla. I know there are some people making big bets against it, but I'm just looking at the technicals. As long as it can hold 595, I'm fine. You know, that was the low from the end of March, the high from pretty much the beginning of December, before pulling back and then eventually running. What else? AMC. This was an amazing trade. Let's see, is it on the 1 hour? Yeah. AMC on Friday, I took a look at this chart. I didn't know how I felt about it fundamentally. I mean, this was, you know, $1 in however many months ago. And, you know, on Friday it was 43. I saw a falling wedge, hidden bullish divergence. It was also at a very important Fibonacci level. I alerted AMC to premium members on Friday at $43. The targets were 54 and 58. It hit both the targets today. So if you're a premium member, this was a great 33% trade pretty much over the weekend. Played out amazing. Pretty much got up to that resistance at $60 from the beginning of this month actually, and stalled out a little bit there. If it breaks that, probably could retest 68. You do have a gap fill on AMC of 49.46. You know, it just went up 33% in like a day. So I know it was up 15% today, but it was also up 15% on Friday if you're a little bit confused about what I just said. We'll see what happens from now on, but again, it just hit targets of a trade. I did take profits personally. Anything else? Coinbase, Workhorse, that's another one I've been looking at. This is not like an actual trade. I was just looking at this in the morning, seeing what the potential reward to risk looks like. We also talked about Workhorse last night, higher short interest compared to most stocks. It's this $15 level that's really important. It closed above it. We'll see if it can hold it tomorrow. If it can really hold that, the next resistance on it is like $18. So I'm also watching Workhorse. Another one is AI. Again, not an actual trade, just me looking at the potential reward to risk. Very clear support at 59.68. If it can really pivot off of this like it did 1, 2, 3, 4 times, that next area would be around $73. Very, very decent reward to risk on this one. Just a bunch of different highly shorted stocks that I've been watching. You know, that's really what I'm looking at. For the people requesting tickers, I'm going to do ticker requests in like probably 10-15 minutes, just covering everything from today. That's what else we want to talk about. PUBM, we talked about this last night. It's the bullish Gartley. Also, everybody talking about the short interest on this one. It was up 8% today. I never officially alerted this or anything, but I did show it last night on stream, put in a nice move. This is just how I'm looking at the reward to risk on this. You know, yeah, you have a resistance at 43 on PUBM. If it breaks that, then you're talking like 55. And really, there's not much support. All I'm looking at is last week's low. As long as it holds that, it could be fine. But again, not a lot of data on a lot of these charts. That's PUBM. EBON put in a crazy move today, but it didn't close above 381. Let me see if it did anything after hours. You know, EBON, Mara, Riot, SOS all had good days with Bitcoin. So after hours, it went up to 386. So after hours, it actually did close above 381. 381 is the important level on this one. It was your pretty much where it opened up on last June, and then it was also your low in December of last year. After hours, it closed above it. You just want to close above 381 tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST. Get back above that level, hold it, and then there's not much resistance. There's even a gap fill at 620, which is also right under the 200-day moving average. Like, this is a very wide range where it's historically gone straight up, straight down, straight back up, kind of halfway down, and then also straight down. So it typically goes to, you know, either side of it, but you still haven't reclaimed it yet. Anything else? I think that's for the most part what I want to talk about. Future is still going up a little bit right now. Make sure to hit that like button. There's no reason why we shouldn't have like 35, 40 likes. Hit that like button. Thank you. Subscribe if you're new to the stream. I go over charts and the market and individual stocks and cryptos every single weeknight at 9 p.m. EST. Shout out to all the mods in the chat spamming the wrenches. And yeah, that was pretty much the story of today. Very, very interesting move on the S&P 500. I don't know, when does Powell speak this week? Cheddar Freeze, you probably know. Let us know in the chat. Is it Wednesday if I'm not mistaken? Also, you know, quadruple witching I already brought up. That typically leads to a lot of portfolio management by big money. And yeah, that was pretty much the story of today, you know? We'll see what happens. Tomorrow, I am watching a few stocks, you know, but I'm really, like I said earlier, anything is possible with all the different variables, both from a technical standpoint and from a fundamental standpoint for the overall market. I think somebody on CNBC today talked about, you know, Powell speaking this week, and I forgot who said it. It was somebody on CNBC, but he basically said that he thinks it's going to be one of Powell's potentially most important speeches ever. I guess it's going to be about inflation, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I hope that they would bring that up. And obviously, there's a lot of debate around what's going on with, you know, monetary policy and just the economy, and that obviously affects the U.S. stock market. So you got to keep all those things in mind. I'm seeing about around 2 o'clock in the chat, 2 o'clock, 2:30 on Wednesday. All right, so I'm probably not going to be trading during that. I'll just be watching from the sidelines. Yeah, you know, this week I'm not doing too many. Well, it's Monday, but I'm not really doing that many like short-term trades this week with all the volatility. I might get in a couple if I see some good moves, like we just talked about all the charts that I'm looking at. If I see some good moves, you know, I might take some, but I'm really just focusing, you know, again, it's quadruple witching. I'm also just focusing on kind of repositioning how, you know, I'm going to be going about things long term. For now, I just opened up Coinbase and Tesla, and that's pretty much it. Still got Clover, still got UWMC. Talked about a few other names as well. Appreciate it. Zara, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Thank you for the 37 likes. I knew we could do it. Let's go. All right, so one last final thing. Oh my gosh. Let me put down I'm sorry if that was really loud. Stephen M bought the FTM market cap. I hope you get the pun there. Thanks for the AMC call. Let's go. Next fib price target for AMC. Yeah, AMC was amazing. Thank you for getting merch. You know, merch sales have definitely taken a deep dive, but I think you're like the first person to get merch in weeks. So thank you very much for that. I hope you enjoy the cap. Yeah, next Fibonacci places or points for AMC. Again, it just hit those two targets, which is what he's talking about. Previous high to low, extend it. 1272 is about $66. 1618 is pretty much 73, which is your all-time high. So those are the next two levels to look at. If it breaks that, I will be genuinely surprised if we see a $94 AMC, but also I was genuinely surprised when we saw a $70 AMC. So it just keeps on surprising. I don't know how this is going to look in 2 years, but for now, it's been a monster this whole entire year. But yeah, that's AMC. All I'm going to do right now is just go over the ongoing trades. After I do that, we'll do ticker requests in a few minutes. This is the weekly trade sheet. Again, two of those premium trades hit the targets. Riot hit a target for 40%. I alerted this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Obviously, it got helped out by Bitcoin. AMC, I just talked about 33% in a day. Most trades are up. PSTH and LVS are down. Another premium trade is down. One crypto trade got stopped out over the weekend, but the new crypto trades are actually up, like right over there. So we'll see how it continues to go out. And yeah, let's get back to the charts. Let's just look at the ongoing trade charts and just talk about them. There's really not that many ongoing swing trades. We already talked about the crypto trades before, and they're all in profit right now. PSTH, not off to the best start. This is currently down 2% since the entry. It broke that low time frame ascending triangle. That was what I was really hoping for it to, you know, make a nice move off of. It just didn't break to the upside. It broke to the downside. I even tried to play some calls right over here on this ascending triangle, but I got out of them when it broke this. You know, 2341 is the important level on PSTH. You are developing classic bullish divergence on the daily MACD and RSI, so you're just hoping that helps you pivot. You want to get above 2341 before getting stopped out, obviously. QS, it was down another 4% today. This one's definitely painful. I mean, it's still in profit. It's up 3%, but this trade was up 25%. It was only 3% away from the first target. I mean, I hope that you raised your stop losses or whatever you do, but that sucks. LVS also not doing too hot, down 3% since the entry. HUYA was up 4% today. It already hit the first target for a 16% gain last week. We'll see if we can get to that second target at 19 bucks. Fisker, you know, it's not an ongoing trade. I alerted it down at 10 bucks. It's already hit both the targets. The second one was $17. You know, at this point, I have no clue, quite frankly. Everybody's asking me about Fisker over here. Nobody was asking me about Fisker down here. It's just, I trade Fisker how I trade Fisker. I like buying over here like I did. I like buying over here like I did when I put out that trade over here. You know, it's one of my highest win rate takers over the past 8 months, 9 months. So I'm not too sure here. Could it keep going? Absolutely. You know, after you break that $18 level, Fisker historically has gone 3 out of 4 times. It has gone to 21. Will it do it again? I don't know. You are overbought on the daily RSI slightly. Historically, every time you were overbought, you did eventually pull back, as you can clearly see. So we'll see how all that pans out. I could see Fisker going either way. The trend is amazing. It's above $17, which was a resistance. But also, you know, as a technical swing trader, I enter in these areas, not these areas. So when we get another high quality trade set up on Fisker, you know, I look at the chart every single day. I'm just not seeing the same probability that I saw down here. You know, it's more of a 50-50 up here. Down over here, it was like an 80-20, in my opinion, with the bullish butterfly and the classic bullish divergence on every time frame and all the catalysts that were coming out. And yeah, that pretty much is a recap for today. S&P futures up 0.18%, NASDAQ futures up 0.23%. Vibes in the chat, I forgot to even say, I'm so sorry. Vibes in the chat for Steven for copying the FTM market cap. Let me see if I missed anything in the chats. Thank you for all the support, everybody. I don't think I missed too much, but yeah, we can look at tickers. I pretty much just got straight to the point on the whole entire analysis for the night. If you want to request a ticker, drop it in the chat. I'm saying this beforehand. Please don't request something that was up over 30% today, because I'm just not going to be able to give you an answer. I need a consistent chart that has data on it. So also don't request something that has like 1 month of data on the chart. You know, I need something that's, it could be going up, but I want it to be relatively stable, not a pump and dump or just a pump or just a dump. You know what I'm saying? I'm a technical trader. And also, if I'm going to be looking at many charts tonight and I'm going to say I'm not too sure, there's not many technicals based on how I use technical analysis to give you an answer. That it is what it is. Don't be an emotional trader. I'm gonna look at a bunch of tickers. I am going to miss certain things. I am going to be wrong on a lot of the things I say. It's just probability. So keep all that in mind. Nothing I say is financial advice. I just like saying all those things beforehand. So, you know, weird people don't say weird things in the chat when I skip their ticker, because there's literally nothing for me to look at. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll start off with BlackBerry. And we'll get to it. How did you come across Fisker initially? I swear you were the first one promoting him. I wouldn't use the word promoting, but yeah, you know, I was definitely bullish on Fisker, you know, probably... I definitely missed out on the original Fisker run in July. Basically, after Fisker dropped back down in like August. August is the first time I ever traded Fisker. I traded this run up. I lost some money on this run down. And then one of my biggest trades ever was this bullish butterfly. I'm sure that many of you remember it. You know, down when I alerted it at $9. That was one of my best trades ever, and then going crazy. But probably, you know, I started looking at Fisker around like early August when it was SPAQ. That's just to answer your question. Yeah, so keep adding the tickers to the watch list. Also, if you add some context behind, thank you for saying that, Cheddar Freeze. If you tell me why you want me to look at the chart, that always helps out. But yeah, let's talk. We already looked at QS earlier when I was going over the ongoing trades. Sorry if I missed your ticker. There's just a lot in the chat. I'm also going to try and keep it to 1 ticker per person. Ryan, we already looked at Tesla earlier in the stream. It'll be in the timestamps after the stream is done. I just want to get through as many tickers as possible. Give me a break, you know. I know it sucks when you want me to look at something I'm not able to. I'm just trying to be fair to everybody. And, you know, I do it every night. So you can come back every single night and request a ticker. Quadruple witching. Question. I don't know what... Are you confused about what that is, Steven? Or my thoughts on it? I'm going to need a little bit more of an explanation. You know, quadruple witching is a major expiration date for a whole bunch of different tradable assets. Which typically leads to a lot of, you know, volatility around highly traded options, futures, and stuff like that. And yeah. Corsair broke out of the channel today. I think I already added Roku. MicroStrategy. What was the news on MicroStrategy? I saw you share it, Cheddar Freeze. Something happened, offering or something. Yeah, we'll look at Corsair first. Thank you, Ray, for the $2 donation. Sorry if I mispronounced that. So where's, you said Corsair, right? Yeah. I just want to see what happens to MicroStrategy. Wasn't there some news after hours on MicroStrategy? Can somebody help me out? Don't quote me. So we're gonna look at Corsair first. TRCH went crazy today, I believe. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Ray. I'm gonna look at Corsair right now. All right, so Corsair. Yup, offering may use proceeds to buy Bitcoin from MicroStrategy. Thank you, Cheddar Freeze. Corsair. I don't know what happened, why it went crazy. There's a bunch of reasons why it could have. News, catalyst, Wall Street bets. I don't know. High short interest. I have no clue. But I don't know. I don't know if there was any technical indicator for what happened today. You know, it was up a lot. Pretty much from the close on Friday to the high today, it was up 33%. That was not something I could have read. It was very neutral to me. I think the last time I looked at it, I basically said I could see it going either way, and it decided to go to the upside pretty heavily. It's been in this range, you know, from March to now till last Friday, and it broke out of the range. So $35 is your new support on Corsair. That was your resistance for 2 months. It is now it should be your support. I'm not saying you're going to hold it, but that's the level that you want to hold. It even was a low back from the end of January. So it broke out of this range, which is bullish. Not much of a pattern over here. There actually is hidden bullish divergence, which is clearly already playing out on the 4-hour. If it can just hold above 35, that's good. I mean, next resistance, there was a resistance at 42.23, kind of, from this high, this high, this high, kind of that high, and this high. It got above it, but it didn't hold above it. That's your next resistance. And then after that, you got 48 bucks. That's Corsair. BlackBerry. So I got into BlackBerry call options on Friday as well, alongside AMC. This one was frustrating. It was a pretty good looking chart. I think I did talk about last night how important this 1370 level was. I got longed around can't even talk, around 1390 on Friday. Woke up this morning, my calls were up, I think like 35%. Didn't take profits. I ended up taking profits with like a 10% gain, which is really nothing on options. There was hidden bullish divergence and a support on the 1-hour. There was like an potential inverse head and shoulders, which looked something like this. You know, the technicals on low time frames were looking pretty good to me. It just they didn't play out as much as I wanted them to. It just rejected the breakout, right? You see this like inverse head and shoulders, and it tried to go up, and it just couldn't break out on the 15-minute, and then it just rejected. And then once it started breaking this, I was like, hey, maybe a potential 3 rising values. It broke that as well. You fell under the low, and I pretty much exited with a 10% profit, mainly because I was rebalancing my whole entire account while that was actually occurring. Technically, this is still fine above 1370. Which it is above. It even put in like almost a bullish pin bar candle pretty much in the final hour of the day on the 15-minute chart. Not a 3 rising values anymore or an inverse head and shoulders. Thank you, Kobe and Michael, for the subscriptions. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the FTM, free trading movement. Yeah, that's really it for BlackBerry. Let me try and go a little bit quicker because I know I'm behind on a lot of tickers. NAKD. You know, it was pretty close to a dragon pattern, supply line, double bottom, right off the 200-day moving average, which was great. It also had hidden bullish divergence. At this point, I'd say you definitely want to get back above 79 cents. That was the resistance in April. It got above it, came back below it. There is no divergence on the daily. On the 4-hour, eventually you can get hidden bullish divergence, but you need your MACD to start waning. You just got to get back above 79 cents. XOM. 61, where is that from? Probably gonna have to go on the weekly, unless that was a recent level. It might have been. Oh yeah, 61 was a low from February 2009. Anything else? It was also the low in January of last year. 61, 79 is an important level to hold historically. Doesn't need to hold it. Let me just clear everything up. Could turn into a cup and handle on the 4-hour chart. Definitely starting to look like one if I can show it. There's your cup over here, and then it's handling out right now. Your breakout point would be $64. You get above 64. Your next resistance is about 67. After that, 72. Yeah. And that's really it. Also another kind of cup and handle, but I think it broke the 50% retrace. Yeah, it came down to the golden retrace. Geo, this one was wild. About 2 weeks ago at $6, which is pretty much where it is again. I was talking about how bullish I was on this stock on stream. There was a bullish crab on the weekly, falling wedge, classic bullish divergence on like 4 different time frames. And you know, amongst all the other highly shorted stocks last week on Tuesday, it put in a crazy move to $11. And then it pulled pretty much all the way back down. At this point, you have that gap fill around like 650. That's not that far at this point. You know, other than that, I'm not too sure. It's just kind of like a straight line down. I tried to go back long on it at like 730. That didn't work out. I took a very, very small loss. I had a pretty tight stop loss, which definitely in hindsight helped out a lot. You just have that gap fill. The exact level is like 643-ish. If you can hold that, there probably still is monthly classic bullish divergence. Yep. Monthly classic bullish divergence is still developing. Like if you go on the higher time frames, this is still a monster of a chart. But again, these are very, very large time frames. They could take forever to play out, right? Like in the grand scheme of things, what happened last week wasn't even that crazy compared to how much it's gone down in the past few years. IVR. Anything above $4.15 on the daily candle close is bullish. That used to be a resistance from January, pretty much until you broke it this month. If we go down to lower time frames, you're holding above it, you flip that into your support. So you just got to hold above really just $4. You just want to hold above that. I think there was like low time frame hidden bullish divergence. I don't know if it already played out. Made a very nice move today. I did have some options on it, did take some profits on it. But it still has potential if it ever breaks 460. After that, it's like 544, you know. And what I really like about this chart long term is how it's making these higher lows, you know, from here to here to here, this trend line, the higher lows, just that big resistance at 460, dating all the way back to June of last year. It's rejected it 3 times. If it ever gets above it, that's when really crazy things could happen. Last week was pretty much the highest volume I see on this whole entire chart. So yeah. That's IVR. TRCH went crazy today. Not much I can do here. You know, there's no pattern. There's no divergence. Down over here was an inverse head and shoulders. I could tell you that. And when it broke 243, that's when it, you know, I had this charted. It broke 243, went to the next resistance. Now it's trying to break that level. After this, you have 398. So that's really all I can see here. 398 was highs back in 2011. That looks very weird, so I don't even know if that's real data, but after that you got 479. Your support is just your previous resistance at 341. There's really not much I can do besides that. Yeah, it does look like a rounding bottom for sure. We'll see if we can get back up to that 481 mark. Other than that, I'm not too sure. Gapped up today, put in a crazy move. I think it went even up higher after hours. What did it go to after hours? It went to 417, so came all the way up like to here after hours, I believe. TLRY, you know, we've been looking at it every night. I just don't know. I've been saying that for the past few nights. There's just not much data at this current price for me to give like a good probability for like a mid to long term swing. I took a mid to long term swing down here at $13. I hit all 3 targets for a 53% gain. After hitting the 3rd target, it got a little bit higher, and now it's starting to pull back. That was like the true technical swing trade in my opinion. Now I have had true technical swing trades on TLRY before, like over here that played out. There were like 40-50% gains, and then it just eventually went way crazy. That's what happened in January. If anybody was around, I put out a trade on TLRY. It hit the target, and then it went up like another 1000% or whatever. I don't even remember. So I don't know if that's going to happen again. I mean, it's just at this inflection point around $19. Low, high, potential support. If it breaks that, I don't even know. Next major support will be 15, so you probably want to try and hold 19. I don't know if it will be able to. If it can hold above it, 23 is your next resistance, last week's highs. That's really all I can tell you on this one. I just don't know. you do have classic bearish divergence on the 4-hour, which is currently playing out. Amazon, I talked about this pretty recently, actually. I talked about the breakout of this 3,300 mark. It's running. Next resistance is 34.39. If the Nasdaq goes to all-time highs, I don't see why it can't get there. It's been in this, multi-level range since August of last year. It's underperformed a lot of other large cap tech stocks in terms of where it was last summer compared to now. Obviously, long term has outperformed many stocks, especially really, March to July last year, this was amazing. And then it just, it went even higher, but now it's just been kind of sideways. We were at this same level back in August of last year, the same exact price. Just a lot of chop over here. But in the short term, it was a double bottom over the back over the 200-day moving average. It was amazing. I just never played it, but I did talk about it on stream. Roku, another one. I was talking about this earlier in the stream. A lot of these large cap tech names are waking up. Roku is one of them. I don't even know how to look at this. Eventually it could turn into like a bearish Gartley, but it'd have to go much higher. There's a gap filled of 436-ish. Your support is probably around like 293. It's kind of in between them, but it did break over this 356 level, which was the highest from the end of May. It's very choppy. I don't see much of a pattern. It pretty much broke this supply line, back tested it last week. And now it's running. So 50% retrace lines up with the highs from April 28th. That's like 378. That's probably the next important level. After that, you have around $400. That's the 618 previous resistance or high, and also a psychological level. In terms of support, probably your lowest from last week, around 320-ish. FUBO, I still think it's on the way to 34. I'm not telling you to enter now. I don't tell you to do anything, but if you remember back over here, I was pretty bullish on it. I just missed my personal entry on it, which I was very frustrated about that one. Broke out of a resistance, got over the 200-day moving average, back tested it as support, and now it's running. Next resistance is 34. That's really it. Not much of a pattern here. I like the stock fundamentally. It's making a move. Probably just want to hold like this demand line, I guess. Just like an upsloping channel. It's not even really like, you have 2 touches on the top, 3 on the bottom, so that is technical. That's really it for FUBO. ET, it's just going nuclear, Anything above 991 is bullish. That was your low from March of last year. Next resistance is 1171. That was where your low is from December of 2018. You are overbought on the daily. This one's just going insane. There is classic bearish divergence on the 4-hour developing. So I don't know how that'll play out. But 991 looks like the support to me. Microsoft, been saying it for a while. Anything above 245 looks bullish to me. It was on one of the weekly watch lists I gave to premium members like 2 weeks ago. I put out like this potential way to trade it. It's up since then. Downsloping channel, hidden bullish divergence, flipping a previous all-time high into a support. It looked amazing. Making a move. There is a gap filled to like 260. Pretty much it's already there. If it ever breaks to a new all-time high, you could use Fibonacci. And pretty much the way I targeted this was the 1618 from the swing high to swing low. That would be around 278. 1272 would be around 270. Support still 245. What was I doing here? LTHM, eventually you can get hidden bullish divergence on the daily, on the 4-hour, but you definitely need to have that MACD start waning back towards green. It looks like it was just in this triangle. It broke out of it, and it's just trying to back test it, flip it into a support, but it is a little bit under it. So you definitely want to kind of get back above like 1870. There is a gap fill to 2038 pretty much. In terms of your next support, probably that previous demand line. Forward. looked amazing over here. Bullish Gartley, confirmation low, classic bullish divergence. A lot of news came out, made a crazy run, went even higher. At this point, I think it's just about, nope. You eventually can get hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. This could turn into a bull flag. I don't know how steep it's going to get, but if this 4-hour MACD can start winning, this could turn into a bull pole, bull flag, and that could send it even higher. Amazing trend. I'm also a fan of forward. Triangle on the weekly. Next major resistance area is like $17 to $18 on the weekly. Obviously, pretty much any time since the Cobra crash was a better time to buy than here. It's always your decision. Micro strategy. Did anything happen after hours? So it looks like it went up 1% after hours. I like how it is back above 562. That was your low on March 25th. It was your low on April 23rd. Next resistance is 676. 3-day resistance in the beginning of May. That's really it. You gapped up today. There was classic bullish divergence with the double bottom at the 200-day moving average. You even got this bullish pin bar candle. That was amazing. This is your follow through price action. Probably could have even been a harmonic as well. What? I don't think it got deep enough for an actual harmonic. But it came down to an 88% retrace, bottom there twice. It was up 16% today, you know. TCOM. Hidden bullish divergence is possible on the daily if this MACD can get back to green. Resistance around 41 bucks. Support is probably this trend line. Could be turning into an ascending triangle. Still has a lot more data to be filled out, I guess. But it is making slightly higher lows, which I like. The trend is good. Look at this demand line. It kind of broke it, but look how strong that demand line was for a while. A lot of fake outs, so that's probably not the best way to look at it. Probably like this. You try and line this up a little bit better. Something like that. I don't know. There's a few different ways you could probably chart that. See what I missed in the chat. Forgot about my tea. Make sure to hit that like button. Let's get to 50 likes right now. Check out the links in the description. Appreciate the tips. Appreciate the merch. Hit that subscribe button. See what else we got in the chat. Neutron Flux Lab says, wife has been listening to La Champ not by choice, but says you speak well and are serious and do a great job. Even if she doesn't understand what you're talking about. Quite the compliment, absolutely. Thank you to your wife. I don't know her name, but appreciate that very much. One more like away from 50, I think. I think we already looked at FUBO. Yeah, we did look at FUBO. It's in between support and resistance. What else we got in the chat? Just FYI about midstream stocks like ET. They are tax pass-through entities. Their dividends are actually tax-free. I did not know about that. However, you'll see the K1. That's really interesting. How am I doing today? Pretty good. Pretty average Monday, honestly. Nothing crazy. And yeah. See which tickers I missed. Thank you for the 50 likes. Got some vibes in the chat. Let me put in some more tickers. And put in NYMX. Alright. Looks like we got Sunny in the chat. New premium member. Shout out to Print. Apple. Great move today. I wanted to play options. I didn't pull the trigger though. Already looked at Roku. We already looked at Ford, ALLO, Tattooed Chef. Yeah, we're about to look at Apple. There was something else I wanted to look at. All right, so ARK weekly wedge breaking out. Wow, yeah, there is definitely the hidden bullish divergence on the weekly. Good sign for growth, innovation. I think you're saying breaking out of a wedge. Maybe something like this. Probably, yeah, probably this. Yeah, back over 200. Wow, this is a very, look how amazing this chart is on the weekly. The trend is amazing. Falling wedge, hidden bullish divergence on the MACD and the RSI as well. Over the 200-day moving average, 130, I think it's going to be seen again. You know, I obviously didn't think it happened, but that's the next area in my opinion. That's also your 50% retrace, which is a textbook way to target a falling wedge. That's the next high probability area in my opinion, as long as it can continue to close above the 200-day moving average at the end of each week. It was up almost 2% today, outperformed all the major indices. The VIX was up 5% today. But yeah, let's get back over to the ticker request. ASTS on the daily. You have a 3-day support at around 953. You have a resistance at around 1110. That's also your 200-day moving average. Previous support. That's your support and resistance. I don't see a pattern. I don't see any divergence on the daily or the 4-hour. So that's ASTS. Sage. Very, very rough day. Back under the 200-day moving average on the close. Back under the supply line. Not a good day for the technicals. I hope that this all gets invalidated. You know, some sort of wedge channel it was trying to break out of. It did, but it just didn't hold the back test. So if it can pop up again, 80 bucks is your resistance. In terms of support, I'd say around $70. So 70, 80, you know. NYMX. It is at the lows from the COVID crash again, which were also your lows in the beginning of May. There is somewhat classic bullish divergence playing out on the daily. Anything above 167 looks pretty good here to me. Then you got a resistance around 188. Break that and it could go crazy. AHT is continuing to flip the previous resistance zone of 549 into support. You have now closed pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles above 550, which is amazing. Next major resistance is 853. Obviously much better areas to enter in the past few weeks. That's really it. PBF, kind of like a cup and handle. No divergence. Just want to hold that demand line. Kind of also like an upsloping channel as well. Rising wedge maybe. Thank you, Aries. Resistance on this one is 1870-ish. Apple, very nice move today. We were talking about it last night. Anything above this demand line in Apple is bullish to me. It's one of my favorite stocks long term. Above the 200-day moving average, Apple's bullish in my opinion. You know, until it breaks this demand line, I'll say every single night Apple looks bullish to me, unless we get like bearish divergence or something else. But as long as we're above that demand line, I'm comfortable with Apple. Yeah, that's really it. Ascending triangle, 137 is the next resistance eventually. BYFC, there's not much I can do in this chart. I hope you understand why. Just no pattern, no divergence, overbought on the RSI. It could keep going crazy, it could dump. I have no clue. That's just not my type of a trade or ticker to analyze. Hope you understand. I actually did trade this last summer, so that kind of contradicts what I just said, but it was down in these areas at the 200-day moving average, supports. It was a very different story then. ALLO, $25 is your major ice line. Lows from March of 2019, lows from October of 2019, lows from January of this year. Anything above that's bullish in my opinion. There is classic bullish divergence currently playing out on the 4-hour MACD and RSI. We take a look at the daily. You also have classic bullish divergence confirmed. Oh my gosh. Wow. Bullish Gartley at an ice line with classic bullish divergence. Wow. Who requested this one? Jeez, what a chart. These are the types of requests I like seeing. I don't know anything about this company. I'm also not the biggest fan of therapeutics companies fundamentally, but because I've just seen a lot of weird things happen to a lot of them. A lot of gaps happen quite a bit if like they have like a bad approval on some FDA thing or whatever, but like, wow. This is the type of chart that I look for. I'd manage my risk. I'd probably just target the 200-day moving average, which is right under that $33 resistance. That'd be about almost 30% gain. I'd probably throw my stop loss under the lows from this month, risking about 8%. That's a 3.5 reward to risk. That's an amazing chart. Again, even if technicals don't play out on this specific chart, these are the technicals you look for the higher probability overall in your swing trading career. Nice. I'll keep this one on my watch list. ALLO. Next one is Tattooed Chef. Right over here, I didn't put out a trade, but I talked about on stream how you could trade this bullish bat with classic bullish divergence, and a confirmation low was an amazing chart. Ice line as well, pretty much like the last chart we looked at, but a little bit different harmonic, but very similar to that last chart. And this is what it could turn into eventually, you know. At this point, anything above 200-day moving average is good, but I don't really see the same probability up here that I saw down here. That's really it. We have SOFI next. Thank you for the 55 likes. Keep hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button. Bullish engulfing on the weekly too. Yeah, wow. And classic bullish divergence on the weekly. Oh my gosh. I'll be looking at this tomorrow. I might put out a trade on it. I have to look into what the company is. But wow. Bullish engulfing last week. Divergence on the daily. Divergence on the weekly. There was divergence on the 4-hour, which is currently playing out, which is kind of like your low time frame signal for an entry. Again, if it doesn't work out, that's an 8% loss, right? But I've just seen these play out so many times. I'm going to move it actually up to the top of my watch list so I don't forget. SOFI, pretty much just in this triangle over here. Let me go to the 4-hour. Just in this triangle, whichever way it breaks, I'll probably be telling. It's also in between 20 and 25, support and resistance. Until it breaks out, there's not much I can talk about. Eventually, you also can get hidden bullish divergence if your MACD starts waning again on the 4-hour. Snow, anything above 241 is good. That was your resistance from March to pretty much when you broke it at the end of May. Now you're trying to flip it into support. If you can hold above it, next resistance is 267. VGAC, already going crazy. Looks like a SPAC. It probably just depends on what the company is, and I don't know what this is going to be. So yeah, just fundamental analysis is definitely more important than technicals on a new SPAC, which I believe this is a SPAC acquisition corp. But from a technical standpoint, there's a gap filled to like 1278. There's also resistance at like 1253. Previous high and a previous low. That's VGAC. Futures pulled back a decent amount. Crypto is also pulling back a little bit overnight. One second, I'm just looking at my watch list. Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be it for the night. How long was I live? Like an hour. Pretty quick stream, but we kind of got right to the point with the market analysis. Also covered probably what we covered is like 30 tickers right there or something. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for tonight. You know, straight to the point. Very simple stream. Thank you so much, Steven, for copying the FTM market cap. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Thank you for the 58 likes. If you didn't hit the like button, hit it on your way out. I'm just gonna do this at the end of every stream now because I definitely need to start talking about it more, and it's already helped out. We've gained like 100 new Discord members in the last week, so it's definitely been working. But join the Discord, the link's in the description. 1,800 other people for you to talk to, trade alerts. There's algorithm bots in the Discord that you can use for free that cost like $1,500 a year. All you have to do is join it and you get them. Just so much. The Discord, it's in the description. If you don't know what a Discord is, just click the link and you'll find out and you'll be happy, okay? So, yeah, thank you for all the support. Pretty good stream. Education as well. There's a lot of educational resources. If you ever have a question about a ticker during the day, there's so many people that could help you out. I mean, Neutron Flux Lab is spamming in caps in the chat for a reason, okay? That's the place you want to be if you're not in it. Hopefully we could hit, I'd love to hit 2,000 Discord members within the next couple of weeks. It would be crazy if we could hit it by July, because that would mean we get 2,000 members in our first 6 months of the Discord, which would be a really cool milestone to hit. But yeah, shout out to everybody in the Discord. That's it for the night. Timestamps should be up. I'm not completely sure, but they should be up in a couple hours, maybe an hour or so. Neutron Flux Lab says, paid my bills with the premium calls this month. Nights out with the wifey. That's awesome to hear. That's like the best thing to hear ever. Like really, that's what makes me happy. That's why I do all of this. Awesome. Pat yourself on the back because I know for a fact you've been putting in so much work. Definitely deserve it. Chart art with I'm just talking Neutron Flux Labs right now, but thank you so much for, again, like all the testimonials, all the support, all the kind words. You're the best. Chart art and education that will give you a skill where you don't have to work if you seriously put in the work. Yep. I actually like that saying quite a bit. Don't have to work if you put in the work. And yeah, that's going to be it. Bitcoin back at 40K. We'll see if it can hold it. No clue. That's going to do it for tonight. Thank you for watching the stream. I'll be live again tomorrow at 9 p.m. EST. Hit the subscribe button. Have a great night. Good luck trading tomorrow. And peace out. Final message. Thank you, champ. Without you putting yourself out here, I wouldn't have gone down the rabbit hole. Yeah, I try my best to just promote the stream on Twitter and stuff and just try and help out as many people as I can, you know? So thank you very much. Shout out Scrooge. Have a great night. See you all tomorrow night.
Baby's a sailboat captain at sea. We don't give a damn, we do as we please. My baby's a sailboat captain at sea. My gal is a good one, tells me she's mine. Wish I was better looking, baby, don't mind. My gal is a good one, tells me she's mine. All I ever wanted was to make you happy, give you the truth. Anything to make you love me, any more than you do. My baby's a sailboat captain at sea. We don't give a damn, we do as we please. My baby's a sailboat captain at sea. My gal is a good one, tells me she's mine. Wish I was better looking, baby, don't mind. My gal is a good one, tells me she's mine. My baby's a saint just like an old George. Good with the dagger, skilled with the sword. All bullshit aside, she's all that more. All I ever wanted was to make you happy. Spit it all out. Anything to make me love you. Yeah, less than I do now. But you were in my head, we were in your bed. When you said, yeah, I'm so fucking sorry for this. Lord knows she's gone. Say you don't mean that. Lord knows she's gone. Say you don't mean that. All I ever wanted was to make you happy, give you the truth, anything to make you love me, any more than you do. My baby's a sailboat captain at sea. We don't give a damn, we do as we please. My My baby's a silver captain.